Delta has pushed out free Wi-Fi on most of its domestic flights.
Southwest will now have free Wi-Fi on all of their aircraft.
Surf the net while soaring in the sky. The Dallas-based carrier now has free in-flight Wi-Fi for passengers.
TRAI has now allowed in-flight connectivity.
But the question is, what's going behind this?
The technology went really above and beyond. Above 30,000 feet on a flight, you can still find Wi-Fi. What's your Wi-Fi access point connecting to?
There are two major aero backhauls. One is air to ground, A2G. Another mode, satellite communication.
Tell us about the aircraft network architecture.
There are three major layers come into picture.
What are the major pain points dealing with connectivity in plane?
Doppler shifts, line of sight, weather conditions, latencies.
Starlink is emerging as a well-known player in the satellite connectivity space.
Yes.
How do airlines usually balance the limited spectrum versus the number of users?
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Weekly Wi-Fi Wisdom podcast series where we talk everything about Wi-Fi and the tech that surrounds it. I'm your host, Sainath. I'm WLAN QA engineer at Candela Technologies, and I'm very happy that we have our guest today, Veena Patnaik, and she has been working as a Wi-Fi QA engineer at Candela Technologies for well over 3.5 years, and she comes with vast experience in testing real clients and testing many Wi-Fi scenarios. And today she is here to share about her experience with in-flight connectivity insights that she has. And looking forward for today's episode, Veena.
thanks, Sainath. Yeah.
So, Veena, Wi-Fi as we know it has become really widespread around the world, right? Almost everybody knows what Wi-Fi is. Though they might not know about the technicalities, but they really use it every day
Yes.
on daily basis, homes, whatever, offices, right, whatever. And the technology went really above and beyond, like in literal sense. Even if you take above 30,000 feet on a flight, you can still find Wi-Fi, and that's great, right? So, and this makes me naturally curious because if you take home or office and I take the router and I look back, I can find some optical fiber link or Ethernet cables connecting to the wired network. But what are we connecting there to? Because you are moving at very high speeds and above at such altitude. And what are you connecting to? What's your Wi-Fi access point connecting to there?
When it comes to in-flight Wi-Fi, in-flight connectivity, there are two major aero backhauls. So one is air to ground, A2G.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say aircraft, so the complete cabin area, wherever you say complete cabin area there, so that part is called fuselage. So below that fuselage, we have an antenna. So that antenna has a direct line of sight RF link with the ground station terrestrial ground stations actually.
Mm-hmm.
So that is similar to our normal cell towers.
Cellular towers.
Cellular
Okay.
towers, but specifically for airborne devices. So from that ground station, that through that RF link we communicate, and from the ground station it goes to a internet backbone. So like that they communicate whatever way we have. So complete airway wherever the aeroplanes are all going. So complete way we have this cell towers deployed, and they go to the backbone, so that as the position changes from this internet backbone or the whatever network provider, whoever they are giving on the aircraft, whatever management system is there, like from whatever company, from that itself we have this communication throughout the cell towers. And there another mode we have this, and which is satellite communication. So as we have different satellite deployed at different heights, different altitudes actually. We have low Earth orbits, medium Earth orbits, and geostationary Earth orbits. So initially, we all started with a geostationary Earth orbits itself. So as they are like 35,000 kilometers from the sea level, actually, and at that height, the view for complete coverage is very high, like with 3 to 5 constellation of uh, satellites, you can completely a globe you can cover it actually. So that way, we are doing satellite communication. So on the fuselage itself, we have an antenna mounted. So through that satellite, we communicate. The RF link
Right.
is via that uh, antenna which are placed on the top of the fuselage actually. Yeah, this way, these two ways we are doing connectivity. Any one of the way we are using. There are multiple shifts as we altitude is moving up. The link moves to satellite. If you are going to lower altitudes, you can move to ground towers. So
Oh, so they can switch backhauls.
switch backhauls. Yeah.
Okay. And as the plane moves at such incredible speeds,
Mm-hmm.
and the handoffs also should happen,
Kind of
right?
should happen.
With the ground
Exactly.
towers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So these are the two backhaul
Mm-hmm.
connectivity options that we have.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
Right. We talked about backhauls. Now, tell us about the architecture involved in the network architecture involved on an aircraft, right? And what are the various layers that they generally follow? How do they categorize things?
Yes. So there are three major layers come into picture. One is the external link layer, which we already discussed, like A to G and satellite communication. Those are like from antennas, how the communication is going, backhaul communication is
So the
going.
backhauls are external.
External link layer. Next comes the distribution link layer. Where the actual traffic routing is happening. So that is the external link layer, and the next is access layer. So where the direct Wi-Fi to the passengers or the cockpit is going, that is the access layer. So when it comes to distribution layer, we have cabin network router, so which actually gives the IP, the gateway, and where the performance of NAT, DHCP, and all those network layer things are happening on the CN cabin network router. And we have this caching server where the already some content is being saved, so that the for infotainment systems, in-flight infotainment systems for entertainment and all the data is being already saved, so that for that data we have a server. And we have the traffic management unit, where the prioritization of VoIP calls or the cockpit data is more prioritized, and bandwidth is more given to them rather than the normal passengers.
True.
And the next one is security gateway, where the firewalls and all cyber security guidelines for aircraft level is being given. So they follow DO 326A and DO 355, those standards at that point.
Those are for security, is it?
Security reasons, yeah. As we have internally for our normal access point in our connectivity at homes and even offices. Similar to that, at aircraft level, we have this DO 326A and 355 followed.
And those security standards are not just for consumer data that is going out to the internet, but also
Mm.
for the cockpit data, the essential critical data used to coordinate with
ATC.
flight control and all things like that.
Yeah,
Right?
correct.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And next we have this access layer, where you have access points deployed. So the access, as the cabin size is completely very huge, cabin size will be there. And we consider the cockpit data, cockpit area as well. So there are multiple access points deployed. They are not like single access point. So multiple access point deployed, and we have a controller at some point. So all this we have spoken about controller earlier, route control network
Right.
router. So that gives the data to all these access points throughout the cabin, and these can directly speak to the passengers. How we connect to SSID and all. So it's direct.
This is what we know generally. So
Gen-
whatever happened
happens
here.
direct at homes. How we get that direct Ethernet fiber connection? So it's direct.
So yeah, uh, yeah, I think that's interesting, particularly the distribution layer. I feel because they have specific functions in that, right? Because that's where the main gateway is, and that's where you are um, also having locally cached data and also security policies. I think truly interesting stuff here. Yeah, we talked about architecture and how well the backhauls are established in order to maintain the connectivity.
Yes.
But I also know there could be lots of challenges because you are going at very high speeds and at such great altitudes. So there could be many technical challenges,
Yes.
right? So share us what are the major pain points when you are dealing with connectivity in plane.
Correct. So, in in-flight connectivity, to maintain that connectivity, there are many challenges faced. It's already deployed, and we are already getting that Wi-Fi. At this point, also we face many challenges, and from the testing point of view, obviously we'll face it. So the main challenges are like Doppler shifts. So whenever as we are moving at certain altitude, certain kilometer per hour, and at relative speeds from the satellite to ground, so the shifts are very high. The beam forming at that point of time is very high, and that should be very rapid. So um, a very good system which can handle that can only like acquire this like compensate this Doppler shifts whichever happening. And another thing is line of sights. So for example, we only have A to G communication. At that point of time, only in the areas you have this cell towers, only on the land areas you can cover. But if you are flying over oceans, you can't cover this
A to G.
A to G
At that time,
communication.
it's just to satellite
If
backhaul.
it is already there, the airline is already following that, it is fine. But if it is only connected to A to G, then if no, there is no line of sight, then
We'll have hard time connecting.
hard time. At least if we are going through oceans or something, then no connectivity at all at that point of time. And another point to come into is weather conditions. Like weather conditions are not always very good. Um, so at that point of time there'll be a hard connectivity problems. And another point would be latencies, even at lower even at A to G or at satellite communications, it's not as seamless as we do at our homes and offices. We user need to expect a higher latencies at that point of time.
Right. So you talked about latency. So if I'm in my home or at office, for most of the things that I do, I usually see around. So let's say if I ping to some Google DNS server, the latency that I see around is 30 to 50 milliseconds, maybe. Uh, so what is the latency up there like? Is it way higher than what we see in the ground?
Correct. Yeah. Obviously, it is way higher at that point of time. But A to G is compensating most of it. Like it's using A to G. It uses 2G or 4G band, actually 2G or 4G bands in like as we use for cellular and all. So using that, we are able to achieve like latent norm from it is higher from what we are using it and at our normal levels. but it is better than the satellite communication actually.
Mm-hmm.
Satellite communication you can see around 300 to 400 milliseconds at that point.
Oh,
But at A to G, you can at least see below 100 milliseconds. You can achieve a latency. It's not very good, but at certain operations, you can be able to do it.
right. So there are some latency issues
Mm.
then. Uh, Veena, so while latency is one thing,
Mm.
but I'm also interested in learning about how interoperable is the connectivity, because you mentioned about satellites or
Mm.
the ground stations. So there are multiple airlines, right? So when let's say a particular airline, are there any partnerships that are happening between a particular airline and certain satellite service providers, like
Okay.
for example Starlink, to ensure better reliability in connectivity?
Yeah.
So are those partnership and things like that happening in order to
Yes, yes.
maintain
Yes,
you know
definitely.
interoperability challenges?
Yes, correct. So, these connectivity things are not only interoperable, they are very complex. Actually, handling them is not very easy. So, to avoid this, the airlines usually partnership, they going with agreement with some IFEC kind of providers, like specialized in IFEC, like those are like in-flight entertainment and connectivity providers. So what they do is complete setup, like and from antenna, like a satellite data unit, a modem, and all the systems, they partnership with them so that the complete connectivity is being given. So it's a complete package actually. So at that point, they also think about parameters like multi orbits. Like for example, now we are going into Leo Earth orbits. So if at all we are moving on to Leo orbits, then the partnership goes for that level as well. So those kind of partnership and service level agreements, they go with the people, and there are some standards the providers provide. Like for example, we have avionics. Like Panasonic Avionics and GX Aviation. We have Viasat and all these providers we have who provide these services. So the airlines actually partnership with them and get into this Wi-Fi connectivity and entertainment on their airlines. Yeah.
So the partnerships are
Yeah,
happening actually.
correct. So that level only, like those are they have already specialized and they have all the equipment ready with them. The communication levels, all whatever flow we have, this communication from the antenna to complete data unit, service data unit, modems, and even inside we have access points being deployed. So for all this communication, they are they are connecting with the people who are providing this service. So airlines they go into a service level agreement with them and deploy those systems in their airlines. Yeah.
So good to know there are efforts going on in order to improve the connectivity and reliability experience for the users. Um, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
So Veena, on flight, right? You have generally hundreds of passengers, and they all want to use Wi-Fi.
Mm.
But your bandwidth is limited,
Mm.
right? On Wi-Fi side as well as on your backhaul
Correct.
links.
Mm.
So how do airlines usually balance that limited spectrum
Mm.
versus the number of users?
Yeah, so in the cabin, you'll see around at least 100, passengers. So, as I already mentioned, we have multiple access points, like wireless access points being deployed. There is always, like, as we have our QoS in normal, our access points on the ground, we have traffic prioritization there as well. So that highly prioritized data, like most important data, is being prioritized. The most than the normal passenger data. Maybe the cockpit data is more important. That data will be prioritized and given importance to that. There are certain rules and policies set for that, and we have something called this bandwidth management system as well. So there are rules set at the some service providers, like we have already discussed some names of GX Aviation and all. They set some limit. Set if at all somebody is playing at some video YouTube video, they can only they're limited to 480p or 720p based on their bandwidth. So they can only play. You can't play at the higher levels, higher resolutions, and apart from this, like as it comes to entertainment and all, we have this pre-cached data. So there are servers running already. These data like Netflix and other OTT platforms or entertainment level of platforms, data is already saved on the servers, and user can auto fetch it. So they are already being they are pre-cached basically.
Right.
So the bandwidth usage will be low at that point of time.
I see that as a clever strategy.
Yeah, correct.
Because if you cache it locally, I think you can directly access without going over all over the internet, right? Yeah, I think that's truly a clever strategy, I feel. So, Veena, on flight, there could be hundreds of passengers,
Yeah.
everybody doing their own thing using Wi-Fi. But let's say one user, maybe it's a 6 hour long flight, and he wants to watch a movie in 4K resolution
Correct.
for 3 hours. So that consumes a lot of data, right?
Correct.
But so, do airlines usually follow traffic shaping or any restriction policies to enforce that a user you cannot cross this limit of data usage in order to accommodate for everybody? So such things usually happen.
Yeah, definitely. So there is a network management system, like as we already mentioned about, and in the architecture, actually, there is a routing compute network router. We have their management system. There itself, these restrictions are being, the rules and policies are being set. So there are rules like speed caps for per device or per person based on the seat numbers and all. We have some limited access for that per person or per device, and even that differs based on your class as well. You're in economic class or you're in a business class. Based on that, also restrictions are being taken into consideration. And along with that, there are restrictions on firewalls and even on VPN access. If you are trying to access some VPN kind of server, those are being totally restricted in the airborne kind of services. Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting to know that there are restrictions usually in place, and I think they should be usually there because you're on flight, and you cannot actually use whatever services that you want.
Actually, bandwidth is also is actually very less, and distributing throughout 150 to 200 passengers. And even we have now the double decker flights like A380. We have Airbus 380. That is a double decker flight. You will have double the people you normally see in a normal aircraft. So shaping that, or if you don't set some policies or rules, it's very highly impossible to manage. So for that, they set these rules and regulations, like I already mentioned about speed
Right.
caps and all these. Yeah, sets.
And good to know that they are actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with all these challenges,
Yeah.
with all these restrictions, as a user, if I am on board,
Mm.
what should I realistically expect from the Wi-Fi access? What applications should I expect they work reliably well, and what applications should I expect that the experience might not be very great?
Mm. So, so for a normal user or passenger, so we do many things, like we from work perspective to daily managing our devices, from video calls, voice calls, from meetings, emails and all. So on the emails, messaging, or browsing, normal web browsing, you can just seamless expectation you can have, as they probably take 1 to 10 mbps mostly, so that you can clearly achieve it. When it comes to video calls, you can do it. It's like but they can't, you may see some suffering there. So And even with voice calls, like same, if you are based on Wi-Fi, you are doing any voice or video calls, obviously you'll have some sufferance. When it comes to reliability of these services, whichever you're doing, it may be reliable at certain point, until certain point. But if it is you're moving through oceans, you're using A2G and you're moving through oceans, obviously there can't be a good connection throughout your flight. And when it comes to streaming, so if you are streaming a YouTube stream, as I already mentioned about the policies and rules being set by services like only 720p or something, maybe may not be the best user experience, but at certain point you can obviously watch a video on board. Yeah.
Right. And you also previously mentioned about the latency being 500 milliseconds or so in certain conditions, right?
Correct.
So for latency sensitive applications, like for
Mm.
instance, real-time voice or video,
Mm.
I think the experience might not be that well,
That well, yes.
right?
Like it's based on the, if you are using actually air to ground service, like the experience might be better because the latency levels are bit low than the satellite communication. So, but again, this loses if you are traveling over oceans.
Hmm.
So obviously you'll see some buffers or connection loss at that point of time.
So if I'm on a plane, then email,
Yeah.
web browsing, things like that are
Yeah,
good enough
very
for
well.
me.
Yeah.
But if I want to do WhatsApp video call to my family, then I might see some
You will
hiccups.
see. Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Um, True. Then I'll put some realistic expectations from
Yeah,
now on.
correct.
Yeah, Veena, now let's talk about the safety aspect
Mm.
on flights,
Mm.
right? Because there are multiple RF links, and one of them is also your cockpit data, as you said,
Mm.
which is very critical.
Correct.
So, how do they ensure that Wi-Fi on a flight
Mm.
does not affect the safety of an aircraft or does not interfere with
Mm.
any other existing systems? So how rigorous is the testing, or what is the kind of testing procedures do airline follow
Mm.
to ensure safety on the flight?
Yeah, so that the testing goes through multiple stages. Like as like normal Wi-Fi access point being deployed into market, we do rigorous testing at our even office.
Yeah.
So when it comes to at that catastrophic level, so there are multiple stages. We'll just go through them. So initially is a lab testing, normally using channel emulators. They test antennas, SJ units, whichever we initially talked about, the architecture level of things at there, right? So on that level, individual modules are being tested. The next is like integration testing, ground integration testing. All these things are integrated and being tested, like even access points, like SSIDs, the broadcasting, what it is doing, how the handovers are happening. So all these being tested at integration testing. When all are integrated, how they are performing basically. And then comes the in-flight testing. It's not direct flight. Certification flights will be there. To certify that certification flights, the complete module is being placed through like their EMI EMC consideration also come, electromagnetic things also comes consideration in vibrations. So all at altitudes, all these parameters are being considered in the ground itself. It's not in the fleet. It's
Hmm,
again.
hmm.
So at that point, all these parameters are taken emulated actually and being tested. Then it goes to flight. There is a operation monitor testing. So what it happens is there is a monitor system which takes telematics of all the operations. So whatever statistics are happening, how the usage of the passengers are, so that and gives all this data to the service providers. So who are doing this ground level module things are doing done. So once that is deployed, uh, if there is some SLA being going through between the providers and the airlines, is the whatever promised thing is being addressed or not? If that is not addressed, they directly jump on to verify why it is and root cause over there. So there are multiple levels, and at each level there is a certification layer being addressed for each module. whatever is small TCU or ECU unit you put into airplane, there are multiple stages of testing happening here.
Right.
Hmm.
So there are SLAs well defined for even the safety measures
Yes,
that
yes.
you need to comply with.
There are like DO 160, I guess, ARINC or DO 160 standard, which is there is a documentation over there. So whatever documentation we have there, that should be followed to cover whatever module you want to deploy on the aircraft. So
And this is irrespective of you know the vendor, airplane vendor, right?
yeah. It is irrespective. That standard is applied for everyone, whatever module you want to deploy. Yes.
To, yeah, then there are safety measures in place.
Yeah, safety is to the top notch when it comes to in-flight connectivity or anything in flight,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah,
they take it very seriously,
very seriously. Even
which they should actually.
yeah, even that should be, even when you are taking a flight, even that is in a very best condition. Also, there are few checks to be done to a flight to take off. Definitely, it has to be done before a pilot takes off.
Hmm.
So it's very catastrophic thing of we take into consideration. Yeah.
Right. If there is if anybody is not complying, then as you said, it may lead to catastrophic
Yeah.
failures. So good to know that there are policies in place,
Yes.
safety
Yes.
measures
Yeah.
taken in place.
Yeah.
We talked about testing,
Mm.
but now again, let's see what's happening in the recent times.
Mm.
So Starlink has been is emerging as a one of the very well known player in the satellite connectivity space.
Correct.
So it comes under LEO, correct? Low Earth orbit satellites.
Mm.
So uh, do these constellations actually help uh, increasing the user experience on an aeroplane?
Yeah, yes, that is the expectation in coming up years. There are many advancements going. It's not just about LEO, like low Earth orbits. It's not just about low Earth orbits. Like there are advancement going so that multiple constellations are placed at lower Earth orbits so that the latency can be much lower than what we are experiencing at geo altitudes. Um, but there are other advancements like multi-orbit link as well. Like if at all you are not able to go with Geo, you can shift back to MEO, we can shift back to LEO. So multi-Earth orbit shifting is also, that advancement also coming into
So they
picture.
can switch between the
Orbits actually, when it comes to satellite communication. And another thing like we have this antenna shape. So in aircraft, whatever thing you have, whatever module coming out at that height, it increases the drag. So even the small model change in the aircraft actual model, like you have the wings at the certain angle, so every single angle matters. So now the whatever shape of the antenna is there, they're going with flat antenna shapes to reduce the drag and other things. So that if it is flat antenna shapes, it can attract more, like it can actually go until LEO, like no need to higher orbits, no need to go to higher orbits like GEO and all, and which can reduce the drag of the aircraft. Drag means actually pulls off, like it goes with certain thrust to forwards, right?
better
So
aerodynamics.
better aerodynamics, correct? Yeah. So they are improving at that level as well. So it's not just about like every small detailing thing we are putting into aircraft, it matters a lot. So
So they are being highly engineered.
highly engineered, very highly engineered. um, Maybe at a 1 hour podcast or 45 minutes talk, we can't cover all of those things. There are like
True.
truly very highly engineered, however you said. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But you do agree that companies like Starlinks are actually that
Is
actually helps with
expectation that in home like scenario, whatever you are like a level like performance like home you'll get on the aircrafts. It's all about the best engineering we are doing there. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's great,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
I'd like to thank you, Veena, for coming over for our podcast series and sharing these insights on in-flight connectivity. So it's definitely a whole new lot of things, for me,
Mm.
which I've never really explored. I think it's the first time I'm hearing something uh, on some deeper side of in-flight connectivity things, and I really think I'll take certainly many things from your experience that you have shared with us. And thank you so much for today's episode. And if you like the episode, please like, share, subscribe. And if you have any questions for Veena on this podcast, you can certainly post them in the comments. Veena will respond. Uh, yeah, that's all for now. So please stay tuned for further episodes. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.